it was just so much stink net. Like a 4-acre spot that is just tons of stink net. It's not 100% of the lot. There's like spots here and there, but like an area. My name's Tony Figueroa. I'm the Invasive Plants Senior Program Manager at the Tucson Audubon. Good morning. We have a crew of 20 people that are permanent full-time employees managing invasive species throughout the region and trying to preserve the habitat that our wildlife and birds depend on. Stinknet, Onchocyphon piluliferum. It is a horrible, noxious weed that, as you can see, is readily invading this vacant lot. This is salt cedar, or Tamarix athel. It is one of many species of the salt cedar family. This is one of our most invasive non-native grasses. This is fountain grass, Pennisetum citatum. African sumac, Dircea lancea. It has a tremendous ability to invade riparian areas and any spots that have a little bit extra moisture. It's important to protect our desert habitat because the Sonoran Desert is unlike anywhere else on Earth, and it is so rich in plant species and animal species that if we degrade these lands with invasive species and let them take over, it's going to outcompete our native plants. And then beyond that, it has fire risks associated with it. Native plants provide food resources for insects, for birds, for mammals, and it's just this whole ladder of sustainability for the desert creatures. We're here at my happy home. My wife and I, Lindsay, we purchased this place back in 2010 on the east side of Tucson, not too far from Saguaro National Park. It's a standard 70s era neighborhood on a 1/4 acre, your standard residential lot. It was mostly bare soils, except for this fig tree back here, which as a Figueroa, it meant a great deal to me to get a place that had a fig tree. My Nana and Tata had a big fig tree in their backyard, and it was always just a special connection with that smell of those plants. I'm a Tucson native and grew up going camping, going hiking. My dad had a camping club with me and my siblings called the Itchy Foot Campers. I've always felt this love for nature and animals. Growing up watching the Discovery Channel and The Desert Speaks, PBS Nova, Nature. Oh yeah, this is my first flax of the year. Wednesday was my big time to just geek out and learn and appreciate things. But I never knew that that was a possibility for a career field. My parents are both retired military now, and I always had this perception that you either join the military, you go into healthcare, you become a teacher or a lawyer. Those are like the job fields available to be a successful adult. So I didn't want to deal with blood and guts, so I decided to go into the pharmacy career path, and I worked as a pharmacy technician for a long time. And then in 2010, my wife and I, we got married and we started taking summer road trips. She was a teacher, so we'd save all of our vacation for the summertime, just take a big road trip, just camping out of our car and occasionally in a motel when we needed to take a shower. But we'd keep on going to national parks, national forests, national monuments. Our biggest trip was 8,600 miles. We went from here to the Florida Keys, up to Maine and back. And it was in doing this that I would just make the joke, you know, man, this is a beautiful place. somebody should do something about preserving this and protecting it for the future. I went back to school, went to the U of A to get a degree in wildlife conservation management in the School of Natural Resources. And it was through doing that that I got exposed to a lot more opportunities, and that was where I kind of just changed my whole career path was through hiking in the Tucson area, going to these beautiful places and realizing, why not me? One of my goals for this is a teaching and learning experience. I always joke that this is the Figueroa Botanical Gardens to my friends, and recorded over 35 species of moths and butterflies in my yard throughout the years. I have over 200 species that are native to the region, growing either as annuals or perennials, and there's always a show going on. Some of my favorite plants, Perry's penstemon, that is our native penstemon to this region of Arizona, attracts butterflies and hummingbirds. Desert marigolds are one of my favorite flowers. It's just got this bright yellow flower on it. Chuparosas, I've seen it shoulder high out in the deserts of Yuma, so if it can survive in the Yuma desert, it can survive in your backyard. Brittlebush is a great desert shrub. You'll see it just covering hillsides and just giant yellow flowers. I've created water harvesting features, digging basins in the backyard so that I'm not losing my soil anymore. Slowly but surely, I'm starting to infect people in the neighborhood with that passion for growing native plants. Like, a little bit really goes a long ways, and you just gotta start somewhere. Just digging a hole is often enough and putting some rocks around it. I work at Tucson Audubon, which is a birding organization, and that is a common question that I get is, why are you doing the work that you're doing? I thought you're supposed to just be looking at birds. And it's painting that picture of birds rely on our native plants. They rely on the insects that are feeding on our native plants. They rely on the seeds that our native plants produce. This is reality. Like, these are the natural things of the earth, not our computer screens, not our iPhones. When you come out into these places, you feel that enrichment and that joy of, wow, I didn't know that creature existed here before. I've never seen that thing before. Oh, there's a praying mantis on this plant. I didn't know that those were around here. A lot of my original inspiration for the yard was to attract hummingbirds and other native birds. It's just such a beautiful experience. Put a bunch of different species right on top of each other, and they know how to live together. They know how to get along.